thought I'd just drop in and
Rise up to the fight. One love, one life for the revolution.
when you're involved in successful organisations and you're renowned for having a voice of reason, your success is predominantly behind the scenes, that voice of assurance, of vision, a mindset, opening your mind to all reasons, all opinions. You have something to say. And on today's show, that person that has something to say and the voice of reason is Tim Turney. So, Tim, welcome to Sporting Denver. Thank you for joining us. And how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much for having me on the show. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while.
Me too. Done a bit of research on you, and we've had a few conversations, and you very much enlightened me both on and off the field. So, Tim, can you tell us, currently what you're doing, within soccer right now, mate?
Well, right now, I'm the vice chair for U.S. youth soccer, and just dealing with COVID, dealing with getting teams and players back on the field, return to play. Concentrating on the kids and a little bit of their mental health. You got to get out and have some fun. You got to get out and run around, enjoy yourself, and just do things, that you enjoy. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm running for vice president. Hopefully it can help make a difference at the federation level. I've been on the board for 5 years and enjoyed every minute of it. And hopefully I can continue and do a little bit more.
You're based out there in Kentucky, and you've worked with the Kentucky Youth Soccer Organization. What was your involvement coming through that organization, Tim?
Well, with Kentucky Youth Soccer, I was the president of Kentucky Youth for about 14 years. During that time, prior to that, I was president of a club. I've coached, I've refereed, coached at the high level, PDL level, and I've coached kids, 5, 6, 7 years old as they come through the ranks. I think some of my most enjoyable moments were coaching young kids and just creating a very fun environment so that they want to come back and play the next year.
Coming from the foundations of, being out there very much hands-on, coach, joining clubs, what have you taken with you from those experiences to that next level, working in those boardrooms, behind the scenes, being the voice of reason? What have you taken with you into those areas, Tim?
Well, I think one of the most, especially on the youth side, you have to keep the kids in the foremost of every decision you make, because U.S. youth soccer is for the kids. It's for the children. It's the future of the game. To give them a start, to keep them happy so that they want to come back and play. And when they come back and play, they may be playing at a college D1 level. They may be playing for their intramural team, for a dorm team, or just a pickup game on a Saturday when a bunch of the guys, the girls say, hey, let's go play. If they're comfortable enough to grab a ball and head out and play, I think we've done a good job. That's kind of what we're after. We have the next level of the elite, and they take a bit of a different path, but it's still the same game.
Yeah, we change, Tim, don't we? But the game never does, right?
Correct. I mean, we all change in different ways.
Right.
I'm not sure I can get out and play 90 minutes right now, but I'd give it a go if I had to.
In a brief conversation when you were working in the foundations, that the nuts and bolts, with the younger kids, you did mention a little story on. I think you know what's coming, mate. A little story that I love that one, and it involved a little bit of acrobatic work from you, mate.
Well, I was coaching a really group of great kids. They were probably 9 or 10 years old, and a little bit of the bad news bears type. We had, different skill levels everywhere. As we progressed through, everyone had their own goals. One young lad was strictly to touch the ball, to get a couple touches on it. Another, he needed to beat 2 players and score a goal. And this one, they all had their individual goals. And I told them every time they accomplished a goal on the field, they'd look at me and say 1. And then they'd do it the second time, it'd be 2. And if they hit 3, I'd do somersaults. and me doing a somersault is not a pretty sight. But they'd come off the field at halftime, after the game, high-fiving and cheering and comparing, what they had accomplished individually and collectively. And you know what? By the end of the year, we weren't the best team in the league, but we were competitive, and every one of those children came back to play the next year. And I think that is a key focus, and what we need to remember, that this game has to be fun. At certain levels, very serious, but at the younger level, it just has to be fun.
Sure. And working from those foundations, Tim, what made you go into the to that other side of the game, going into a youth soccer organization, certainly statewide and then potentially region-wide? What gave you the incentive for that transition, Tim?
Well, that's a bit of a funny story. I was coaching, I think it was a U19 team, and they were getting ready to play in state cup. And it was graduation weekend, baccalaureate, everybody, 4 different schools. They all had something. They all had agreed that they were going to be there. And the day of our first game, I think out of the 17 kids that were there, 9 of them called and said, I can't make it. I got to do this. So we had barely enough. We did show up with 8 people, enough to field the team.
Sure.
Or 9, whatever. I think it was 8. But I had called the league president and this and that. I said, we just, we can't go. And he said, if I didn't show up, I would never coach again. They were going to fine me X amount of dollars. And I said, this is the kids' game. What? Long and the short of it, I said, you didn't have to worry about me coaching again. And then when I finally got back, I decided we needed to change some of that. So I got in, and just not with any idea of moving up, but just to fix our local community, to make sure the kids could play and have fun and not have to worry about all these different. And I ran that club for 10 years plus, kind of rolled it into a competitive club, eventually got onto the Kentucky board as a regional director. Then I was president for about 14 years, and it just gradually moved up. And when I thought I had done what I wanted to, somebody would say, well, you ought to consider this. You ought to consider. And then I ended up being vice president or vice chair for U.S. Youth. I was on the federation board representing the youth. And now I decided I'm going to take a shot at the U.S. Soccer's VP. It'll be a tough go. There's the 4 people that are running, 3 other than myself, are great individuals. So we'll see.
Well, Tim, you get our support, and good luck with that. And it's commendable of you. Again, the voice of reason. There are, a few other candidates out there that can all bring positives, to the game. So balancing the position that you've got, working with US Youth Soccer, did you continue coaching, or was there a slow transition from coming off the field, Tim, there?
There was a slow transition. I coached for a long time, the entire time I was with my club. When I became the president of Kentucky, I kind of weaned off coaching so that there were no perception that I had favoritism to any one club. Clubs get competitive, and the club I came from was a relatively small club, so there wasn't a lot. I was on the field almost every Saturday, probably helping people. May not have been technically the head coach, but I stayed involved. Both my children played through college, which was kind of fun. going and watching them. My daughter is an athletic trainer. She's in charge of the women's soccer team at Clemson University.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that is great. I have a great time with that. And I have to go ahead.
And I see, Tim, that heavily involved in like your local professional / semi-professional clubs as well. You're a man after my own heart, because I stick with that local culture, that local support, rain or shine, or in Colorado's case, mate, often snow and cold weather. What was through your football, your soccer adventure? What was leaning in towards that semi-pro, that professional, as a supporter?
It probably started out wanting to play. I've always wanted to play at that level. I did for a while, and either just couldn't quite cut it or had a few minor nagging injuries. But it was a way to stay involved. The man that owned the club was a very good friend of mine, and it just started out me helping him, but we got involved. We had a great time, about a 5-6 year run. And right now I'm a big, Blue City supporter in the USL, and we got the women's team now, Racing Louisville.
Racing, yeah.
Season ticket holders for both. I can't wait. They had an excellent draft. I'm really excited. In fact, I think the 5th overall pick was a girl from Louisville that I'm not.
Oh, brilliant.
That I think would just be outstanding. Have a lot of hometown support. I'm really excited for her.
When you, I'm going to drop in. When you were playing, did you have aspirations to be, the best player on the planet, Tim, or did you get it from your dad, your mom, or where did that come from? That goal?
I would probably say I got it from my dad. I wouldn't say I wanted to be aspired to be the best planet in the universe, maybe in North America, but
okay,
that didn't. And I would say I was I was a good player. I was a role player. I was never the star of the team. But back in those days, I was fit. I can go 90 plus and not breathe hard. I mean, that was a good thing. I made an effort. It was back in the very early 80s that I tried out for a few semi-pro, professional teams. There was indoor at that time. And I was always just on the verge. Never quite got over. So my father used to say asked me when I was going to get a real job. I said, but I kind of got the last laugh because now I'm a horse trader. I live in just outside of Lexington. I have a beautiful horse farm. He still says to me, when are you going to get a real job?
I was going to move on to that into obviously it's Kentucky. I get that. You're going to educate me and most of our followers here. How did you get into that side of it, Tim? Because that's got to be a great professional pastime, right?
Well, it is, and it's kind of ironic. My degree in college, university, was animal science. I've always enjoyed animals, mostly large animals, and so I got out. I graduated, started looking for a job, and I had always been a bartender through college. So I was bartending, and I met a man. Long story short, offered me a job on a farm in Kentucky. So I can literally say I'm in the horse business because I met a man in a bar, which is always a great lead into a story. So going to bars is not always a bad thing.
So just elaborate on that, so there you are, doing your stuff out of college, trying to earn a little living there, pay the bills, of course. So from there to there, because I know you've got a massive spread out there and you're working with those beautiful, beautiful horses. What was the transition there then, mate? Because there's a bit more to it. I know there is.
Well, I came to Kentucky on St. Patrick's Day, 1982. I flew in here, a few $100s in my pocket. And just worked hard. I worked for a gentleman that was a great teacher. Learned a little bit of the business, both on the racing and the farm side. I met a beautiful lady. We got married St. Patrick's Day, 84. And then just kind of opened our doors and started our own business on a farm. Her father had a farm and went through there. So it was great. And just by word of mouth, one step after the other, we now have 160 acres, about 75 horses on the farm, mostly client horses, that we prep, sell, breed. Had a couple babies, one baby the other night, have 2 on the ground right now. So it's a good life. I feel like one of the luckiest lads in the country right now because I get to do 2 of my passions, horses and soccer.
Well, there you go. A little bit. Look at the Irish. Look at Tim. Looking to meet your great lady. You're actually training, stroke coaching 2-legged and 4-legged friends as well. That's not too bad a life, as you say there, Tim.
No,
blessed.
Not.
So, taking all this into consideration, you're moving forward, or to the next level, taking your visions, again, the voice of reason. A lot of your work in soccer has been involved in, behind the scenes and meetings and being open and honest. What, without the next step up, as you mentioned, what is your vision for the game under one umbrella? What's the Tim Turney vision?
I guess I'm not sure there's a Tim Turney vision. My vision is for everyone to come together and to work towards a common goal. I think we need to set aspirations and goals high. Our women are number one. I want them to stay there and put forth every asset we can to keep them there, and do the same thing with the men to get them up there. And then at the same time, be financially secure, get our youth game a little more defragmented on the same page, moving forward so that we all share the same vision. I think the role of the vice president is to help bring people together, to create common goals, support the president, support the members and what they want to do. The game is the game. As much as we try to change things, the game doesn't really change. Different coaches use different tactics, just like in the administration, in the boardroom. Everybody has a different tactic. But we have to remember the game is the game, and that's what we support. We can't get in the way. We just have to make it easier, better access for everybody, and give our elite athletes, our senior national teams, junior national teams, the resources they need so they can compete at the highest level. They can make us proud, which they do.
Do you see it as a pyramid? From the grassroots right up, making those connections to obviously the national team level. Those connections. Do you see it like that, Tim?
Yeah, you call it a triangle. I want to call it a triangle in a square.
Okay.
If you look at a cube, and then you look at that cylinder that comes up, inside that cylinder, that is your elite. But everything around that is that your youth league, your adult leagues, everybody else that plays, I don't want them to stop at the base. I want everybody to go here, but your very elite are going to be the tip within inside of that. I think that includes all the supporters, all the fans, everybody that buys merchandise, buys tickets. They're all within that cube. They're just not the athlete in the middle, but they all play a huge part of it.
I'm going to ask this. I've never asked this to anybody before, and I've involved in the game at that intelligent level, which is where I'll never get, Tim. So, would there be an opportunity to connect all those, the people that play co-ed out there, the adults, the 25 to 35 that are looking for those leagues to retain those players? Is there, in your vision, is there room in there for them to connect them in and bring them in under not so much one banner, but maybe regional? Keep those players in the game.
Absolutely. I think that's a goal. I think John Motta and Richard, who they're in charge of the in charge, the president and vice president of the adult council. They've been working very hard on that. In fact, John has been a very strong proponent of creating, not the adult cup. And I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank of the name, but the winner of that playing a foreign team, the winner of the European Cup on the amateur side, and in creating those, not just regional within us, but even some international competitions. It's, basically the adult national cup, just like we have our youth national cups. It's kind of,
Go on, Tim. Sorry, my apologies.
No, it's just fun. And I think those are some players that have been around for a long time. They understand, they play the game for the love of the game.
Right.
They're not getting paid. They're risking, injury every Saturday and Sunday when they're out there playing, because it gets a little, and there's a lot of pride involved, which is a good thing, because soccer is a game of passion. You have to have passion to play the game. I think the longer you play, the longer that passion goes. Some of us can't play much anymore, but I think the passion is still there. So we do it in other ways. You have a broadcast. I'm in, the administration side right now, but there's nothing better than being on a field on a Saturday morning and watching 300 kids play a game, or at the same time sitting in the stands watching our men's and women's national teams play. I get the same excitement from both.
Yeah, I can see that. Would you say, I'll throw this at you, would you say this is sort of like recycling, because we're all in it for the kids, obviously, that's the foundation, the grassroots. So for, those players coming out of college or just, those 25 to 35 and beyond, people like your good self and I are playing in those vets leagues or whatever, or not, that's almost like the grassroots recycle of keeping everybody involved in the family. I'm getting that right, Tim?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I think that is the goal. We all want to have our national teams do well, but really, our goal and my goal as the federation is for everybody. Is to bring those kids coming out of college, some of the older people that have played, and they may have taken a bit of a hiatus to get their careers on track. But,
sure.
But once that's done, to be able to come back, and there are leagues around the country and people, lawyers and doctors, that on a Saturday afternoon are just out there. And then after the game, you beat the tar out of each other for 90 minutes, and then it's off to the pub, and we're all friends. It's not, and that's, I think, the beauty of soccer. You can play 90 minutes all, as hard as you can. But after the match, it's off to the pub. We'll have a pint, and everything is good.
I think it's soccer is a conversation starter. No matter where you are, you could be in King Supers or down the Rose and Crown or your local sports bar. It's always a conversation, isn't there? And which can turn into heavy debate. I know we've been on a couple of those. So, but it's a conversation starter. The game is for everyone, and it's the people's game, right?
Yes, it is. It's everybody's game, from the youngest to the oldest, the least skilled to the most skilled. It's just a game for everybody.
Tim, I'm not going to take up too much of your time, and I thank you for just sharing the last 30 minutes with us, getting to know you a little bit, your background, your passion, which is there, it's obvious. I'm going to personally thank you for everything you've done anyway, and we've only just met recently through Brandon Ponchak, a very good, he owes me 10 quid, by the way, when next time you run into him, so remind him.
Everybody seems to owe you 10 quid.
Shh. I'm going to say a big thank you, Tim, for the last 30 minutes. I can't let you go. Because I always do a quick 5 questions at everyone. There's a couple of groovy ones in there for you. So here we go. What soccer team, male or female, international, local, what team do you support? Where's your passion? What's your team, Tim?
would be right now Blue City and/or Racing Louisville. Haven't started yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited too. I'll keep an eye out for those results. And I'm glad you said hometown. A lot of people will have gone Barcelona, Real Madrid or something. I love that. That is brilliant. Home turf. Player, either, growing through. Which player sort of got you into the game, or it could be now, who's that player icon for you, Tim?
The player that got me in most was probably my father. When I grew up watching him play, he played till he was, well past 50s, and, close to 60. He's still alive. He turned 90 a couple of weeks ago, a month ago maybe. And that's my idol. That's who I watch him play. It was great.
And that's perfect because, he had the opportunity to play at a very, very, very high level, and now is playing later on in life in the game, which is what we were talking about, Tim.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I need his autograph. I need his autograph for my backdrop. Well, when we catch up, it might be the same answer, mate. Who was your biggest influence right through your soccer adventure?
Biggest influence.
On or off the field, Tim?
Probably my wife. The support. There's a lot of times, when we do this, both playing, coaching, you're gone for weekends. I very seldom coach my kids. I have two adult children, but I very seldom coach them. But weekends, you're gone. Meetings, you're gone. She stays home, tends the farm, does that. She works probably harder than anybody I know. So I would say she probably has the most. I know she has the most influence over what I do, but that would be mine.
Good for her. And Mrs. Turney, good job. I don't know how you do it, but good job. So you've just earned some brownie points there, Tim. So you'll be
I probably need them too.
Okay. So I'm coming into the farm. I'm coming to see you at some stage. I brought my good lady with me, and we're coming up. What's on the menu? What's on the menu that evening on our arrival? What's on the menu for us, Jim?
Well, if you come down here, I'd probably do a prime rib, cooked medium rare, have some asparagus, probably twice baked potatoes with a little shrimp or crawfish in them, little Trojans there. We'd start off with probably a pint or two before dinner, and then I'd probably break open the red wine after dinner. I do like my wine. I like my beer and wine. So, of course, if it tickles your fancy, we can get some of that Kentucky bourbon too.
I'm on my way, mate. So there we go. The last question. Would you rather train horses or humans?
Horses.
We'll leave it on that one. I get it. Give it a four-legged friend. That's brilliant. Don't ask me to ride one though when I do pop out there. But my good lady will. She's brilliant. I'll just sit and watch.
I don't get on their back. That's not fair to the horse.
Hey Tim, thank you. That's my hat trick. That's all I'll ever get. We're going to run into a legend like we have this week. Mick McCarthy will be on the show, the former Republic of Ireland manager, along Premier League and Championship manager, on next week's show. So, and in our conversation as well, we had to look at the Irish and St. Patrick's Day. So it's strange how that one transpired, but I can't let you go. I'm going to say cheerio. Tim, can you leave all our viewers and listeners one final message, and thank you again, my friend?
I guess if I had a final message to everyone, it would be to enjoy the game. Have fun. Take it serious when you need to take it serious, but enjoy yourself. Just have fun, because soccer is passionate and passion is fun. So if we can all do that and all get along, I think we'd be in a better place. I'm looking forward to that.